Alright, welcome back everybody. We'll be continuing our Synthwave song. If you haven't seen the first video I posted where we created the song from scratch, I'll post a link to that right about now up at the top of the screen. And just to recap, so far we've created a verse and a chorus. We have drums, bass, pads, piano, arpeggio, and a couple leads. Yeah, I definitely want to work on a pre-chorus. Just going to move the first chorus and the rest of the song over for a minute. And once again, I'm going to tweak my bass line to try to come up with a different part. Alright, I'm just going to listen to that. I'm digging that rhythm. Maybe here I'll actually change the drum beat for the first time. We're giving it a sort of a halftime feel with the drums and the bass there. I'm actually going to duplicate both of those. I don't know if halftime is something you would normally find in a synthwave song, to be honest, but sometimes we make up our own rules, especially when we're being creative. It almost kind of has a bad feel, like Michael Jackson Bad, which, hey, that works for 80s inspiration. I'm going to add some synth to that. And just like before, I took my bass line and now I dragged it up a couple octaves. We're at the F sharp 3. We're going to mess with this until we find something we like. Okay, we're going to copy that to the piano. I'm going to shorten some of these notes. Now for arpeggio. Alright, moving along swimmingly. Let's try dropping out and putting it back in. You know what? I think I want the drums on that part to be back into normal time. On the second time, the bass line will go up to D. We have this one right here as like an extra, but that's because it's kind of ringing out from the verse. I'm gonna let it actually pause there for a second, just by leaving some blank space here. I'm gonna drag this back over, and to get really precise, you just zoom in, kind of see where you're at. Okay, so what I did is I figured out that this little part here where it kind of slows down makes for the perfect segue into the chorus. I got rid of the little 4 drum beats. And then bam, you're just into the chorus. Okay, so we're going to option drag to duplicate the pre-chorus over here. But maybe I'll just put a drum fill right here. If you zoom in on the drums, it'll let you see what you've got here. And since this is the last chorus, we'll make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to change the drums on the verse. So I'm going to loop that and tweak that. Okay, and I want to give a little drum fill here. And with Synthwave, we get to have all the fun. We can do cowbell, congas, the really high-pitched toms like Phil Collins, and all that stuff. Sometimes you'll try spilling the drum fill over into the next bar. I think that kind of works in this case because it's kind of going to a whole different rhythm where it slows down. I like how the crash sort of rings out over the notes that are kind of drifting off. I kind of like the juxtaposition of that super fast conga to a slowed down drum beat right after. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more to the drums, starting with side chaining the bass and the kick drum. First thing we're going to do is add a compressor to our bass track. We're going to come back to that in a minute. We're going to expand the drums here. We're going to go to the kick drum. And so on the kick drum track, we're going to look for an empty send. Choose any one of the bus options available. I'm just going to choose 18. Okay, so we closed the drums, and then over here on our bus 18, we're going to change that to no input. Go back and open the compressor on the bass track. And here on the upper right where it says sidechain, we're going to click this to expand, go down to bus, and then choose bus 18. And you can see it says bus 18, kick 1 Lindrum. Now it's important to note that on our bus send, we actually want to drag this wheel up until it gets to 0, and that's on our kick drum track. If we go back to the bass drum track now and click on compressor, we can start to mess around with the sound. And you see how it's moving like that? Okay, so we added some sidechain compression to the bass drum. We're also going to add some gated reverb to the snare. Okay, so we're also going to expand the Lindrum set here and go to snare 1. We're going to create a bus send as well. We'll just do 19 to keep it simple. We'll drag that up to 0. Close the drums, and then we'll go over to our aux. We're going to add in a reverb. I'm going to choose a very big sounding reverb. Let's start with Old Concert Hall. And now we'll add a noise gate. So what we did is we selected sidechain and connected it to the snare. And you can see where it says open and close. Now you can just adjust these controls to taste. Okay, as I was listening to that, I wanted to try one other thing. Just a quick tip is if you drag things over to the right, it's kind of a cheat to just get them out of the way, but not get rid of them all the way. But I wanted to try doubling this part here. Another quick tip, put your playhead right in the middle here, and you right click, split at playhead. It'll cut that into 2. That's a very quick and easy way to cut something in half, or 1/4, 3/4, that kind of thing. Just add a fill there. Delete that part now, and let's focus on the outro here. Okay, so we'll end the song with that drum fill. Always make sure to save. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin to mix and master the song.